Today, the story of Cloudonauts begin. The stories of Nyx. And in today's episode, the drift detection. Not far in the future, everything is driven by cloud technologies. We live in the city, high above the sky, and the last defenders of the system are called Cloudonauts. I'm one of them, and this is my story. Some call me Cyber Angel, friends call me Nyx. Today's episode will be about detecting the drift. Nyx is shopping something interesting and she just get interrupted. Alert Netrunner, SNS Cyber Angel System key. Nyx, drift is detected. You need to hurry. You need to help us. Nyx is saying, looks like another cloud outage. Exactly in the moment I want to buy a cyber dog. Damn. She don't have enough time to just enjoy herself. Detecting the IAC drift, infrastructure as code drift. What actually drift can mean? It's a manual, unauthorized changes out of infrastructure as code state, microservices misbehavior, change in the API, other provisioners, or out of the state executed infrastructure as code. Tooling for that can be driftctl from Sneak, Terraform AWS ClickOps notifier, or AWS drift detection. Now it's time for demo and entering a shop before she will run for our action to detect actual drift. So let's wish our Nyx a luck. Today's demo will be circling around very simple CloudFormation template, which is creating S3 bucket. Drifting Joe is here with versioning configuration enabled and bucket encryption in place. So that's our baseline that we will deploy in our cloud, especially AWS environment today. We will start with creating a stack. So I will click in CloudFormation in AWS on create stack and I will upload the template file. So I will select one and that will be drifter.yaml. One of those that I prepared for this today demo. It will create an S3 bucket with a CloudFormation template. You see the drifter YAML. I will click on next. Then I will name the stack Nyx drifter and click on next. So based on data, I can add Cloudonauts true, and I will add this stack here. I can set up the rollback, failure, or preserve successfully provisioned resources. That means that if there will be some failed resources, I will not roll back, but for this one, I will put rollback in place. I can set up the stack policy. I can have advanced rollback configuration, notification options with the SNS. So I can select one of the topics that I have in the SNS. And also I can use the stack creation options like termination protection or timeout. So I will continue with this template. I don't need any parameters and I will submit it. What this should do, it will create an S3 bucket with the versioning and encryption enabled. It takes like really a few seconds if you are fast enough. You see that the create is in progress. And when it will be created, we can try to play with some drift changes. We can try to introduce the changes in our stack and that will be the malicious action that we will do. Our ClickOps action, because if you don't know what is ClickOps is an activity where somebody goes with the mouse, you just click in your console, do the changes instead of using infrastructure as code. So don't forget this term, ClickOps is real. So when I will go to stack actions, you see here, view drift results and detect drift, that's something that we will play with. So when I will go to detect drift, you see that it executes the drift detection. So I will go to stacks, I will select the stack, and in the stack action, I will click on view drift results. If there is no drift, you will see in sync drift status. Even for the resources in the template or in the status in the stack itself, there will be in sync drift status. I will update it and you see all is good. Then I will go to S3 and I will open this S3 bucket. And I will modify the versioning on this drifting jaw is here. In properties, I will click on bucket versioning and suspend it. So when it is suspended, I did the modification of the bucket itself. Now I will go back to drift and I will detect the stack drift again. You see here, there is also information about drift detection is initiated. I will also show you in between interesting page, resources that support import and drift detection operations. So AWS CloudFormation supports resource import and drift detection operations for following public resources. And you see there's a certificate, account, API key, so many resources. It's a blast. It's a blast of resources where you can detect the drift in your CloudFormation. So I really recommend to go to this user guide, resource import and supported resources for the CloudFormation, and that's resources that support drift and import. So this is like heavenly good page for you. We'll go here, bucket versioning has changed, then I will go back to the drift. I will do and refresh, and you see the drift status changes to drifted. So when it is drifted, you see the last drift check time. So that means when the last drift was executed, or drift detection in our case. And you see that this is modified. I will click on this resource and I will click on view drift details. You see the expected code and the actual code. If I will select the property which is changed, the not equal one, and expected value is enabled. The one that we changed is suspended. And you see exactly which line is changed in your CloudFormation. This is really cool. So basically it goes to AWS API and it tells you, hey, somebody just messed up your resources. And modified is not only status that you can have. I will go back to this S3 bucket, and in this S3 bucket, I will select this one and I will delete that bucket. So I will check this drifting jaw is here. Control C, and I will just delete this one. So this bucket is deleted, and I will go back to drifts. You see that there's a list of the drifts for your account and for your stacks. So I will go back to our stack, which is completed, and I will again detect drift. So when the drift is being detected, I will click on view drift results, and you will see still status is drifted. I will refresh it, and now it's changed. The status is still the same, the time is updated, but there is a huge change. There is a drift status deleted with the proper timestamp when this happened. So when I will go here and click on view drift details, there is nothing because the resource is already deleted, so there is nothing to be compared with. And that's amazing service from AWS. I really cannot stress enough. That helps you to identify malicious actors in your account. It helps you to polish your infrastructure as code. It helps you to detect ClickOps, and it helps you to improve the changes and detect the changes that are unwanted in your accounts. This is something that I really recommend you to go through. Again, view these results. This is very cool. And I do believe that you will go and you will try it by yourself. Okay, Nix is charged and she needs to cross through this like very strange cyberpunk guy who is trying to defend somebody who is hiding in the shadows, somebody who caused a drift in our infrastructure, which is managing the central brain of the city, our AI best technology. Nix is saying, let's face. And she moved forward. And she actually moved smooth. He didn't notice her, and that's great because she can continue in discovering what is a drift, who causes that. Detecting the drift in the details means scanning your Terraform state files or local or S3, scanning your AWS, Azure, GitHub, or Google config, analyzing drift, and print the unmanaged resources. And you can select multiple different outputs and integrate it with the CI/CD. And in the best case, you will have solution for aggregating all the data and detecting the trends in your drift detection. Detecting the drift from the CI/CD perspective, it can be very easy. You can just Terraform commit. You can just commit your Terraform, that's maybe better said. And in the parallel, you can run drift CTL, you can run Chekhov, you can run TFlint or Megalinter, which is my favorite tool, and Terraform validate. When all of these things are good, from security, from the linting perspective, from the drift detection perspective, you can run Atlantis plan. And when it is approved, then you can run Atlantis apply. And by this information, Nix is getting 1 GitOps card. Anonymous Netrunner is saying, you can use a mix of GitHub actions, Megalinter, copy-paste, and Bandit, driftctl, or Atlantis for GitOps-based control to know what is happening in your infrastructure as code. Nix is in the strange room. She passed through this strange guy, and now there is a cyborg in the control room trying to detect what is wrong. And she is a Cloudonaut, so she is Cloudonaut on the level 1, and she needs to find out what is happening. So she will use a GitOps card to slide through the deck. And cyber control, what? Our infrastructure is getting crazy. So let's let our main hero go through that and discover what is the drift in our second demo. Let's play with a tool called driftctl, and driftctl is a tool from Snyk, which is in the maintenance mode. I encourage everyone to support them because this tool is just epic. So let's check what we can do. I will go to my Terraform repository here. So directory, Terraform init. So I will initialize my Terraform. It will initialize the backend. I'm using localhost, and I will show you also the differences, how to scan your remote backend and how to scan your local backend, just for the showcase. Then I will run Terraform plan. And when I will plan, this is very simple stuff. As you will see, this is just the IAM role allowing me full-blown S3 access. So it's a full access policy. Very simple, very easy to use. I just want to show you that on simple example. Very simple example. This role is called drift role. What I will do, because I already have some resources set it up by myself without any Terraform, and this will be applied by Terraform. So let's check and let's do some fun. So what I will run Terraform apply. And when I will apply, the changes will be applied and the Terraform state file will be created. I will confirm yes in this case. So let's do the changes. And as you see that it will create the policy for me and the role for me too. And it also provides me the drift role. So you see the 3 resources are added. So what happens if I want to identify, I will clear my screen. What happens if I want to identify the drifts happening in my account with the CLI? That means that you can put it in your CI/CD. It's very simple. Drift CTL scan. And driftctl will scan your local file, your local terraform.tf state. So when I will hit the driftctl scan, it will scan the one state file that I already have there. It will scan the resources. That means it will identify the resources that are managed by Terraform, and then it will print for me the statistics. So I will say that, I will see that the scan actually ran for 11 seconds. 3 resources are managed by Terraform. 354 resources are not managed. This is crazy. So it will show you that I have lots of security groups that I was playing with. I have also some IAM policies that are there. I have the IAM role that I set it myself that I'm not managing by Terraform. And there are some other things that are not managed. So ECR repositories that I didn't set up with Terraform, and other things, AMIs that I'm using, also backups, the CloudFormation stacks. You can see here the Nix drift that I was also using for the drift showcase. So all of these things are basically something that I didn't manage or I do not manage with Terraform, and it will print it for me. Very simple, very easy to use. There's another thing that I can show you, and I will put it from my documentation. If you have remote state in your S3, because that's very common. I don't know anyone who is like storing that locally. Architect. And I will use my public S3 bucket. I will drift CTL scan from TF state plus S3, and then I will use this architect / Terraform state. That means that I will scan my S3 bucket for TF state, and I will check if there are any changes, and it should provide me the same things. So driftctl scan will run this on the remote state, and it should print me the 3 resources and 354. And you see, this is the same issue and same problems that I had before. So this is something what is very cool, and I really recommend you to try this tool. It's very easy to use. It has some limitations, as you see here. There are some limitations, but for the basic drift detection, I really love driftctl. Looks like something is strange. I have a bad feeling about this. It was not normal drifter. Something is strange. I think that we will see each other in the next episode, and we will see each other in continuation of next story. See you next time.